Shalom. Today I would like to concentrate for part 2 on Matthew chapter 5 verse 19, which says, "So whoever disobeys the least of these mitzvot or commandments and teaches others to do so will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever obeys them and so teaches will be called greatest in the kingdom of heaven." This is very, very important because it gives us an insight in the Olam Haba, the world to come. Not only that, but it also shows us that we can control our position there by what we do here. If we extrapolate from this, we see that there are 4 kinds of people who are mentioned here. Number 1 is those who keep the commandments and teaches others to keep the commandments. Number 2, those who keep the commandments but do not teach others to keep the commandments. Number 3, those who do not keep the commandments but do not teach others not to keep the commandments. And number 4, those who do not keep the commandments and teach others not to keep the commandments. Number 4, of course, is the least, because not only are they not keeping the commandments themselves, but they are not teaching others to keep the commandments. This is where, unfortunately, most of Christianity lies, because they deny that the Torah is valid today. So of course they're not teaching it, even though they will readily admit that the 10 Commandments are very valid today. And the 10 Commandments are the backbone of Torah, backbone of the law. How then can Torah be invalid when the backbone of it is valid? It doesn't make a lot of sense. But when you put yourself in danger by teaching people that it's not valid, therefore there's no reason to keep Torah today, you're putting them in the least of those who are going to be in the Olam Haba, the world to come. These, otherwise, are the poor people that are in the world to come. They're the ones on the very bottom. But he also shows us that by keeping the commandments and teaching others to keep the commandments, we can become the very greatest in the world to come. And this is very important. That means we have total control. We have control today over what is going to take place with us in the world to come. And there are those people in between, those who will keep the commandments but not teach others, and those who do not keep the commandments but they do not keep other people from keeping the commandments. So there are 4 different categories, and I put a chart up so that you can visualize it easily, if you'll take a look at that. In Kabbalah, they have an understanding that the 4 species that we wave on Sukkot represent 4 types of Jews. The first is those who study Torah and do mitzvot. The second is those who study Torah but do not do mitzvot. The third is those who do not study Torah but do mitzvot. And the fourth is those who do not study Torah or do mitzvot. Even though there are people who do not study Torah or do mitzvot, the Mishnah Avot also tells us that all Jews have a place in the world to come. Does that mean that there's going to be evil people in the world to come? Absolutely. I put a chart up as to these 4 categories. And you can see by comparing these 2 charts the similarity between the teachings of Yeshua or Jesus and those of typical Judaism. They are very, very similar. So the understanding is very, very close. And there's a reason for that. It's because Kabbalah originated in the north of Israel. This is also the area where Yeshua grew up and learned, was in the north of Israel. Much of his work was done around the Sea of Galilee, in Capernaum, Bethsaida, Nazareth, in those areas. And those areas of northern Israel were well known for mystic rabbis. People like Koni the Circle Maker, or Rabbi Bendosa, who performed miracles on a regular basis, because they were more concerned with the spirituality of Torah than the letter of the law. And this is the tradition that Yeshua came out of. And as we're going to see later on in other studies, how he spiritualizes the law, much like the rabbis in northern Israel did, versus those in the south around Jerusalem who were more concerned about the legalistic aspects of the law. But getting back to these four categories, will there be evil people in the Olam Haba, or the world to come? Absolutely. If you look in Revelation chapter 22, John the Revelator says very plainly that there will be evil people in the renewed world. They won't be able to come into Jerusalem. They will not be able to stand before Messiah, but yet they will be there. It's just a part of the way things are going to be. But they are also the least in the kingdom, because they don't have a law. They never lived according to the law, the revelation of Hashem Baruch Hu through Torah. So they will have to learn it eventually, even there in the kingdom. But that's why they will be the least. But what it really points out to us is that we have the ability here and now to determine our position in the Olam Haba, in the world to come. So by studying Torah and by teaching others Torah, we will be called the greatest in the world to come. But if we fail to do that, then we'll fall farther down the ladder, and hopefully not be in that group of people who are the least. But it's totally up to us. We have the ability here and now. And Yeshua gave us an insight into that through this little statement. He gave us the insight into the world to come and how much control we have over it right now. And it's never too late to begin. No matter how young we are, no matter how old we are, it is never too late to start keeping Torah and teaching other people Torah. This venue here with YouTube is a wonderful way to put teachings up so that we will fulfill that commandment. And by doing that, we will ensure that we will be in the hierarchy of the world to come. So I would encourage you today, if you haven't started already, do the little things first. It doesn't take a lot. All we have to do is start studying. Then when we study, we share with our friends. We share with those people around us. We put it up on YouTube or on Facebook or any of the venues that we have on the internet. We have such a wonderful ability today through the internet to share what we believe with other people. So I would encourage you today to take advantage of that and share what you know about Torah. Study Torah. Ensure your place in the world to come, that you will be considered among the greatest and not among the least. Shalom.